Welcome back to our lesson of Adobe After Effects. In our previous lesson, we learned about keyframe basics and also about ease. Well, that was the first step of animation which we did in this course. Now, we are going to learn a bit more about animation and also the trail. Okay? So, the thing we're going to learn about is going to be spatial interpolation. Well, that is also keyframe related, okay? And you have to fix up a couple of things to do that. So without any further ado, let's just jump into the lesson. As you can see that I have still the same content which I used in my previous lesson open. Well, I'm going to start off from this part again, okay? But here I'm going to do is make some edits. I'm going to do is first off, make some changes over here, and I'm going to delete both of them because I'm not going to need any of them. And I'm going to add in my content on my own. First off, I'm going to do is going to be zooming in. And let's say here I'm going to make up my text. Let's say I'm going to type in Y. So I already have it. What I'm going to do is decrease the size and keep it somewhere around over here. Now the first thing I'm going to do is going to be keeping it somewhere around over here so that I can get a perfect visual. I'm going to zoom in a bit more. And I'm going to take it somewhere around over here. Or let's say I'm going to keep it at the middle, because I'm going to need only one of these contents. I'm not going to need like two of them. Now the first thing I'm going to do is going to be make up a decent or a straight animation or the movement path. The first stuff I'm going to do is fix out my, let's say I'm going to take this option, click on it, and keep the anchor in the middle. Now as I have my anchor in the middle, what I'm going to do is increase the size, go up to transformation, and here I'm going to position it in such a way so that I can get, let's say, animation. First I'm going to do is keep it here over here. Let's say 3.3115 is like perfect. Here I'm going to do is make up my position over here or anchor this point. And over here I'm going to do is drag it. Even if I drag it, I'm going to do is going to be, let's say instead of this anchor, I'm going to drag the whole thing. Select tool. And drag it somewhere over here. Okay, that works. But if you hold on to shift, it will get locked on whichever axis you're using. If it's vertical or like horizontal, it will be in a straight line. Okay, so make sure to hold on to shift. Okay, so I'm going to keep it somewhere around over here. Okay, now we have a straight line. As we have a straight line, I'm going to do is keep it over here a bit more. Now it is like perfect. Now I'm going to do is play it up first. Play. And do is decrease all of them. I'm going to take it over here. So you can see the animation has been made. As the animation has been made, what I'm going to do is going to be make the spatial interpolation. Now, as we have our straight line over here, we can see from over here that we have our straight animation. Okay. But what if we want it to be in a curve? Well, obviously we can make an arc, right? So how will we make an arc? So sometimes people might think that we can make an arc by making or adding up more, let's say, points over here. Let's say here I'm going to do is make up another one. Let's say I'm going to do is just click on this selection tool. And let me just undo it and do zoom in. And let's say some might think that I'm going to make another one over here. And then after a while, I'm going to make another one. Let's say like this. And then another one over here, right? Something like this. But that doesn't basically work, okay? It will just go into points and then reach out and at the end. So I'm going to do is keep it around at the beginning and start it, and you will see that it is just going to points and then, making it up. But you don't have to do that because that is going to take a lot of time. So I'm going to do is delete all of them. Just select on each and every keyframes and press on delete, and it will be deleted. Even though it's like at the center, now I'm going to keep it at the center. Okay, hold on to shift. You have a perfect, straight line. So next what I'm going to do is going to be make Bezier. Okay, that is like very simple to do. And to do that, what we're going to do is make up a bit more. So from here, I'm going to do is first off delete it. So I'm not going to need the center one. So I'm going to do is going to be clicking on one of them, right click on it, and you will find out an option called this keyframe interpolation. Click on it, and you will find out two of these options. First off is going to be linear. Select whichever one you want. So I'm going to do select on linear, and on the spatial interpolation, which we are going to show, you can select linear, Bezier, or auto Bezier, or continuous Bezier. From here, I'm going to do select on Bezier. I'm going to click on OK, and you will find out that the end of those lines or end of those animation will turn into these handles. So I'm going to click on over here, and you can see the same thing over here. We have our handle. Okay, now what I'm going to do first is going to be selecting our Y and keeping it at the center. Now as we have our center, I'm going to do select on it, and then select on this and hold on to your handles and make an arc. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side too. I'm going to press on Ctrl Z. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to keep it somewhere around over here. And we have our path ready. Now I'm going to do is play it off. You can see basically this is how it will look like. Okay. So this is like very simple to do. So I'm going to keep it somewhere in the middle. I'm going to play it again. Now you can see this is basically how it will look like. And one thing you have to keep in mind that if it's not on loop, okay, what you're going to do is just go off the preview. You'll find an option over here. Okay, I'm going to do is keep it at the beginning. And we have this tool of click change loop option. This is like one loop, and let me play it, and it will just end at once. Okay, so that is basically it on how you will be able to do it. But make sure to keep it on loop so that you can get the result over and over again and get the preview, so that you don't have to like play it over and over again, hit on your like space bar and all of those. Okay, so I'm going to keep it somewhere around over here. Now what we're going to do is going to be opening up continuous Bezier. To do that, what I'm going to do is going to be clicking on the same thing. I'm going to click on preview first, and then I'm going to do is first off zoom in. We have two of these options, so I'm going to do is delete one of them. Now as we have one of them, I'm going to do is right click on it again, go off the keyframe interpolation, and select on continuous Bezier. I'm going to press on OK. And then I'm going to do is make different ones. So I'm going to do is click it like this, and you will be able to change the diagram and change it however you want. Let's say I'm going to do is click it over here. Let's say I'm going to do is keep it right here. And what I'm going to do is going to be zooming in. I'm going to do is find out the ones. Okay, let me just find out the centerpiece. Now I'm going to do is make up another one over here. This is the third. Okay, the third, let's say, keyframe in between. Now I'm going to do is, we see two handles when you use continuous Bezier. I'm going to do is keep it somewhere like this. Now let's play it up and see how it looks like. Well, it's going to continue the path which I made. Okay, you can see there is the small loop, and then it goes a bit back. Okay, so this is basically how it is going to function. So I'm going to keep it over here, and then you will find another option. Let's say I'm going to do is click on it, and then press on Control and Alt, and then you'll be able to fix it up on one side, because now it is like independent. Okay, I'm going to make a loop. Let's say I'm going to play it up, and you will find out that it's going to loop and then go back. Then you will also be able to fix the speed just like I showed you from the graph, selecting on it, and then select on, let's say I'm going to make the speed a bit lower. Do the same thing over here. Even though if it's like this, I'm going to do is keep it somewhere around like this. So it will be a bit slower over here. So I'm going to do is play it like this. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing over here. let's say I'm gonna do is keep it like this, and now it's a bit slower. Okay, so now you know how you'll be able to work with spatial interpolation. Well, just like I told you, just follow these steps. I'm gonna press on Ctrl Z, so I'm gonna keep it like this. You can like change it however you want, and if you go in between any of these lines and then make up another one, you will be able to make another keyframe in between them. I'm gonna do this again over here, keep it over here, and fix it up according to your desire. Now I'm gonna do is keep it at the beginning and play it, and now you will have this type of animation or transition going on with your text by using spatial interpolation. So that is basically what spatial interpolation is all about. So hope you understood everything about this lesson. And obviously, if you want to make it a lot smoother, just go off to this graph and then select the animation and then change it however you want. Okay, that's like totally up to you. So let's move on to our next lesson, where we are going to learn about mask and also the masking options. So let's move on to that lesson.